The moon is fallen in Scorpio, but all other things considered, this is a more constructive lunation than a lot of the other events in 2020. It might be a new beginning that feels like you're starting at a severe disadvantage, but maybe that's drawing you to put in the effort and plant seeds for long-term growth. If you're excited to dive into what we can collectively expect from the new moon in Scorpio, with some astrology and then some tarot and oracle deck cards thrown in there at the end too, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Hi, I'm Maren. I am a professional astrologer, author, and current philosophy student. I combine traditional Hellenistic astrological techniques with modern psychological counseling dynamics in order to provide grounded spiritual guidance with my astrology. So this video is brought to you by my very own Astrology Academy. If you are learning to learn the language of the stars, this is your one-stop shop. This course is a comprehensive deep dive into the foundations of Western astrology. This includes history, philosophy, technical concepts, counseling considerations, and a step-by-step guide to reading a chart. I've been working on creating this course for so long, and I'm so excited to finally present the product to you. And if you are more dabbling in astrology and not sure really what it is, but want a bit of guidance on how to learn, I do have a 1-hour free webinar I'm hosting all on actually learning astrology, which will give you a 1-hour deep dive into setting yourself up for success. Links for everything is down below. This is a new moon in Scorpio, just barely on November 15th, 2020 at 12:07 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you're on the West Coast, it'll be later at night on the 14th. Adjust for your time zone, 14th, 15th of November. So new moons are always times of new beginnings in the whole sign house of your chart. I never recommend practicing magical rituals on the exact day or the new or the full moon, as you can see in my video here on why I do not practice magic on the exact day or the new or full moon. But especially for this one, I would hold off until the moon is in Sagittarius the next day if you want to do any rituals. Anyway, this new moon does have the moon in its fall. The moon is in Scorpio, and planets in their fall are opposite to their exaltation. So instead of being lifted up and extolled and revered, they're at a lack of resources. They're being depressed, they're the underdog, they're hindered, and it's at an immediate disadvantage of a lack of resources. The moon as the collective, the emotional gestalt, just the united people, with it being in the indicator of fixed water, the waves that we're riding out are subjectively scary. And the moon is exalted and stable and grounded Taurus. It loves being in Taurus. So when the moon is in Scorpio, it's usually an indicator of some instability and volatility in the experience. The sun and the moon are together because every new moon has the sun and the moon meeting up, and they are both in the third decan of Scorpio, which is associated with the Seven of Cups tarot card. And it's known as the Lord of Delusion or Debauchery. It is a Mars-ruled sign. Mars rules Scorpio, but this decan is Venus-ruled, Venus-influenced. So it's the visions of desire and of fear that have floated free from what is actually possible through action. That it's describing this state where either our dreams or our fears are not anchored in reality, and we're off on this tangent that is calling us to let go of the desire or the fear, that what we're longing for or fearful of is not actually existing. Even the inverted version of this card is disillusionment. It's waking up to that. So either way, this area of the sky and this alignment is not particularly rich in clarity. It's cloudy, so be careful of a new beginning on this note of either paranoia or scarcity that is compelling you to start a struggle that might be wholly unnecessary. The dispositor of this new moon is Mars. Mars is the ruler of Scorpio, so this new moon in Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is in Aries. And Scorpio is in aversion to Aries. Aversions or lack of an aspect, they cannot see each other, so the luminaries cannot see their ruler. There is a lack of cohesion that further indicates that this new moon doesn't really have the footing or the full power to manifest in a way that you're expecting. It appears much more internal than external, and it seems like we might be beginning a new emotional chapter based on something that we realize isn't true, like we wake up to our delusions and we set off on a new emotional note. So if you already know in your chart what whole sign house Scorpio is and where this will be showing up, let me know in a comment down below what you see this perhaps manifesting as in your life. Uranus is in Taurus, the opposite sign to Scorpio, and the sun and the moon are opposite by sign, but they're really far apart from Uranus by degrees. So the sun and the moon are opposite Taurus by whole sign, but they're pretty far away by degree. So Mercury is also at 5 degrees of Taurus, which is in a 3-degree opposition to Uranus at 8 degrees of Taurus, and implying within 3 degrees is what's called an engagement. So Mercury is really dramatically opposite to Uranus. The sun and the moon aren't really, but Mercury opposite Uranus is dramatic communication of calling out BS. The bullshit filter of Scorpio is unparalleled. So I see this new moon as blowing the lid off of things, in particular maybe being really honest with yourself in a way that scares you. Venus is at home in Libra, and it's enclosed by the rays of Mars and Saturn, and they're all in their home signs. So being enclosed by the rays of the malefics with one ray of Saturn and one ray of Mars on either side trapping Venus is this alignment of going from bad to worse or being trapped. But every planet is in their own sign, so it's kind of like we have the resources to be comfortable with that, dealing with the being trapped. Jupiter is also intervening here, which stops it from being full worst case scenario. So Jupiter's ray is going in between. That Venus is at 22 degrees of Libra. There's a ray from 15 degrees from Mars and a ray at 27 degrees from Saturn, but Jupiter is closer at 23 degrees. So Venus is at 22 degrees, Mars and Saturn are at 15 and 27, but Jupiter's at 23, so it's closer and it intervenes. And it's a really rare traditional aspect where there's an enclosure of the malefics and the benefic breaks it as if it protects it. It saves it. I see this as like there's drama going down and we are saved from taking it too far or too seriously or getting caught up in our own minds. We're protected from the rabbit hole, so to speak, that we catch ourselves before we go down that rabbit hole. Now let's pull a tarot card to see what's coming up for this new moon. So we have the Seven of Swords reversed, and as you can see, it's someone running off with swords, like you're getting your shit and leaving. So with it inverted, it's telling us not to leave, to stay the course and not to let paranoia or a desire to break free actually manifest before the fruit has really ripened. So this is saying, you know, intentionally fight the urge to rebel right now, that you don't have all the details. Let's pull a card from my new Mio deck, which is an astrology deck. It has a lot of astrology cards in it, and so we'll see what astrology concept is coming up to remember for this new moon. We have water, intuition, feelings, purification, soul, unconscious introspection. We literally have the card of water as what's coming up. So with this in a water sign, in a very emotional aspect, this makes sense that we're being called to tune into those emotions and feel what might be paranoia or fear or scarcity and work through them so that we don't act upon them, so that we remember that we are not our thoughts, we are not our feelings, but we are awareness behind them. And sometimes we have to process those. So this is a deep and possibly delusional new moon. Be wary of tunnel vision and call out bullshit before reacting too far away from what is here and now in the moment. If you enjoyed this and you want to learn with me, check out my webinars and courses below. Would love to have you join in on those courses and learn. Otherwise, make sure that you like, subscribe. Let me know down below what you are indicating or like calling in intentionally for this new moon, what you are thinking of setting out on, if you have any inkling and anything that you're already working on. Sending all the love, and I will see you in the next one.
But there is one thing you're all